Welcome. Welcome to Black Girls Watch. We are actually, yes, back again. And we're about to review. Well, we're doing a recap.
What do y'all think we're going to review? Take a wild guess.
Oh, yeah, they could take a guess, I guess. I think. What do you think? Use your context clues. Yes, you guessed it.
Yep, I heard
The Matrix.
The Matrix. Mm-hmm.
The Matrix, absolutely. So we were going to watch live the original Matrix, but we decided to just do a quick little recap of all the things and then do an official recap once we watch the new one, which I'm excited about. So, Shamira, our next thoughts before we dive in?
No, I'm just excited for this. We were talking about before just what this contributed to technology at the time, just how innovative it truly was.
Yep.
And how it changed the face of cinema.
Absolutely. Like we were talking earlier and we just touched back on it. Like I was saying, I know the first time I saw The Matrix, I saw it in the movies and I remember it just being such a big deal, like with the technology and how it really revolutionized like filmmaking. Like after The Matrix, like everything changed. And I think it was like some movies that came out the same year that weren't as like use that technology and they look worlds apart. You know what I mean? So I do remember that we were talking about the famous bullet scene, right? How you were saying like it was everywhere. And I remember because it was so like, exactly. It was so like, not your goggles slipping off. It was like, the cool thing about it was like, it really was like now in today's time, because everything is such a high quality, it's hard to remember. Back then it was just like crazy. Like I remember being like, oh my God, The Matrix, but it was fun. I was saying, like I remember everybody from like my best friend's neighborhood we all went together, and one of the guys worked there, so we might have got in for free, like downtown Baltimore at the Harbor Movie, which isn't even there anymore. It's now like a restaurant, like a South American restaurant or something. I don't even know. It's like mad random, but yep, that's where I used to go watch all the movies back when I was younger. So yep. So I'm excited. I'm excited to recap The Matrix and kind of go down memory lane. The second and third one are always kind of blurry to me. The first one I feel like is a staple. And since I be down the rabbit holes all the time, I always, I'm always referencing.
The second and third ones to me were not as good, but the only reasons I have any awareness of the second and third one at all, really, the only reason I even saw them was because I was a huge Aaliyah fan, and Aaliyah was supposed to be in, I believe, the second and third one. If I'm not mistaken, they were filming simultaneously, and she passed away before it could be completed, so they had to recast the role with Marvin Gaye's daughter. I forget her name, but there are actually scenes in the Matrix, I think it's Matrix Revolution, which I believe is the third one. But there are scenes in that where if you look closely, you can still see Aaliyah in some of the crowd shots because it was too expensive for them to reshoot these scenes with like hundreds of extras. So there's actually a couple of scenes where you can pause and you look closely, you can actually see them. So that's the only reason I think I had any awareness of them or even watched them at all, because even though the original Matrix was innovative and really good, it was just something about, I guess I'm realizing now as we have been discussing films that trailers either sell me or sour me. Like there's often times where I'll see the trailer for something and I'm like, I'm not going to see that. And I feel like it was similar with The Matrix. I remember seeing like the trailers for the second and third one and being like, I don't think I'm going to like this. I don't know if I'm going to see this.
Yeah, I don't think I saw the second or third one in the movies. I may have, maybe. I just can't remember, Brain cells, I don't remember. I know I saw them eventually, but I don't know that I saw them in the Matrix. But yeah, look at this. I didn't even know. Hold on. Get off.
Yeah, wow. Crazy, right?
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, that's right. She played Z.
I've never seen this before. Like, I never knew about this. Wow. Man, Aaliyah was about to shut everything down.
Yeah, she would have been a superstar.
I didn't know that was Marvin Gaye's daughter either. I didn't know that was Marvin Gaye's daughter.
That's Marvin Gaye's daughter. But yeah, like RIP,
Girl.
she would have really like, oh wow, yeah. Oh, and I think it's also on the DVD. Maybe that's where I got some of the knowledge about
Oh,
this.
maybe.
It might have been on one of the DVDs because I think somebody I knew had the DVDs or something. But yeah, so look at how beautiful. That's so crazy. She really was about to literally become probably one of the greatest stars on the fucking planet before she passed away. Because also, just a quick tangent about Aaliyah, but also at the time, she was not only this major superstar as far as being a singer, but she was transitioning into acting and doing pretty well with it. And she also had major modeling contracts. She was modeling for a lot of major brands. One of the more popular ones was Tommy Hilfiger. She was an actual Tommy Hilfiger model. And then in addition to that, there was something else that she had in the works and I cannot remember what it was. My brain just like kind of looked for a second, but yeah,
Aaliyah was so dope though. She was doing so much. I remember my one of my cousins was obsessed with Aaliyah, but she looked just like her, kind of like similar style, and like all through high school, like that's how she dressed and stuff. So like I knew more than I would have known. I knew a lot about Aaliyah, but I knew more about her by default because my cousin was obsessed with her.
Right. Yeah, I was a huge fan, and I just remember what the other point was about her, was that I don't think she won it, but she was nominated for an Oscar for her song in Anastasia, Journey to the Past. She sung like I want to say the lead song. What's the fucking name for that? Well, anyway, the song they were using to like promote the film Journey to the Past, she was nominated for an Oscar for that. And I don't think she won, but she was nominated.
Oh, this.
So could have easily got it had she lived. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, she sung that at the Oscars. Okay, Journey to the Past.
Yep.
Wow. R.I.P. Aaliyah. Yeah, she was about to do the daggone thing.
Yeah.
Her auntie, but we ain't gonna get into that. We ain't gonna get into that today. We matrixing. No, they might be trapped in the matrix. Who knows?
Lord. Well, let's watch this recap in her honor. R.I.P. Aaliyah.
R.I.P. Aaliyah.
And all those trapped in the matrix, including ourselves. Only thing I originally remembered from that is that, of course, the Smiths, all the Agent Smiths are trying to kill him because they don't want him to come out of the Matrix. And Trinity and Morpheus are trying to lead him to salvation so that everybody can wake up and unplug from the Matrix. That's all I really remember. I didn't really remember any of those specific plot points. So I was very interested to like
now I remember, for the most part, I definitely remember like Neo in the beginning, how he, linked up with them. I do remember like Trinity being in love with him, them getting him out of there, and then him going to the Oracle. I remember all that. And then I remember, what's his name? Snape. What's the name? That ain't his name. Who's the one that snitched or that flip flop?
The one that killed everybody?
Yeah. I forget his name.
I forget. They just said his damn name and I fucking forgot.
Me too, but you already know. Well, here's the thing, and what I was going to say about him.
Was it Shane? No.
It's like, let me see. I'm about to say. I want to know. What I was going to say about him is because, I feel like, we really are living in the Matrix. Cypher.
Cypher.
Yeah, Cypher as like, that's how people really be though. Like, I feel like you got two types of people. Or several different types of people. You got people that want to know about the Matrix and want to be out of the Matrix. And then you got people that's comfortable being in the program and just wanted to remain normal. And I just feel like, in a way we're experiencing that now, but it's like some people want out. Some people don't know and ignorance is bliss. Some people know and want out, and some people know and want to stay in because the comfort of the system is better. I always think about that scene. I always think about him because I really do feel like a lot of people are just like, listen, I'm fine being taken care of by the system. I'm happy with my comfort, because what do you have for me to go and be poor and miserable out in the real world? He's like, no, I got everything I could ever want here. You know what I'm saying? And it like, you know, this steak I'm eating, I know the steak ain't real, but it tastes real. Like, you know what I mean? So he's like, you don't care. And then like I always tell people, like, you know, I always joke around, say like, oh, I'm in the rabbit holes. I always say like, it's like this for me. Imagine I'm in the Matrix. Morpheus came and told me it was a Matrix, told me that, you know, I took the pill, the red pill. And he's like, all right, I'll be back tomorrow to get you. But he never comes back, but I'm still stuck in the Matrix. So that's how I feel I am. I'm just in the Matrix, making the most of it, you know, spread as much positivity as I can until I figure out a way out the Matrix, or Morpheus come back, whatever come first. So, but I love the Matrix. I love it. I always think we really living in a type of Matrix, because, you know, I can go deep on that, but I definitely think it's some validity to that. And even to the point where, you know, they say that you heard that, I think we talked about it before, how they were saying like the Black woman actually wrote the Matrix. It's like, and some people say it's a conspiracy or it's, you know, false, and some people say it's real. I've heard her speak on it. The woman, what's her name? I always forget her name.
I did look that up after we talked about it, and it did seem that there wasn't a lot of validity to her claims the way from what I read, but it's one of those things where it's like, if there was validity to it, would we know that for sure? Would that information be out there? So,
Sophia Stewart, that's what it was. Sophia Stewart was a lady, and she allegedly wrote the Matrix. But I was watching her talk about it, heard her talking about it, and she was saying actually it was a trilogy, and Terminator was the first one, which, you know, which is very interesting, because say apparently, you know, she had come up with this idea and it was taken from her, and they made, I think, 2 or 3 movies out of it. But that's just a story. She did sue. It was some people say that she won the suit, some people say she didn't. So, you know, you guys go do some research. Sophia Stewart, let us know what you think. You think it's real? You think it's fake? What you think? But I believe it. I don't know. I'm inclined to believe it, but, you know, let us know what y'all think. You know,
definitely everybody do your research, because, you know, see what you can find on it.
Yeah, and bring some info to us. Let us know what you think. But yeah, otherwise, like, yeah, you know, the Matrix holds up all these years later. Like, it's amazing. The storyline holds up, like the graphics hold up. Like, some of the stuff is like, all right, yo, like, you know, the floppy disks, they don't hold up, you know.
Right. That was the thing I was thinking. I was like, damn, y'all couldn't have like went. Because that's the thing is if you're gonna write a sci-fi movie and you want it to feel timeless, you don't use technology that's already existing. You make some shit up so then it can feel timeless, you know. Because then if the shit comes to fruition, great. If it doesn't, then it still feels like a sci-fi movie. It doesn't feel outdated. But hearing the word floppy disk immediately kind of takes me out of the movie at this point, you know.
Yeah, only thing I say about that is if, like, okay, let's imagine that like everything blows up right now. Like, let's like the physical, you know, like the drives don't survive, but like the DVDs survive or something. You know what I mean? And then like we're back to DVDs, because that's the only thing that actually has, because you don't have a computer to play the shit on, but maybe you found the old fucking DVD, you know what I mean? DVD, because it looks like their computers and stuff are just like pieced together technology. So I'll buy it because of that. But like that did just make me kind of put. And then like the cell phones were like trying to be futuristic, but we're so old. And I guess it was it was saying it was in the future in 1999, but what year did the Matrix come out?
99. So I think this is supposed to be, I think it's 2099 or something like that. Because it said 200 years in the future, or 2199. So that was 1999, 200 years in the future would be 2199.
Right. Oh, it did say 200 years in the future. I thought it said, I don't know why I thought it said 1999. Yeah.
That's also tangent, like a genius of Star Wars is that it's in a galaxy far, far away. It's not in our future, it's not in our past. Well, it said a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But that's what.
Yeah, 2199, they say. What were you saying? You say it takes place in our universe, or what are you saying?
No, I was talking about Star Wars.
Right, but you were saying, I know you said, and it, but what was the connection? You were saying that to
Oh,
say
just to say that, like, that's how I think Star Wars stays timeless, because it doesn't take place in our galaxy. It's a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So we don't have to you can't really look at it and be like, oh well, that technology is outdated or this or that. It's like, nah, it's not even happening here, kind of thing.
True. Fair enough. Yeah, so I mean, the first Matrix I don't have no issues with. I always like know what's happening. It's that second and third when even the guy's like, let's get this over. Like, let's get this shit over it. Cause it's like, what are the second and third one?
Mm-hmm. So let's see, because the second and third one, especially the second one, like the third one of them makes more sense to me. I feel like it's the third one that I hate the most. I honestly haven't seen it in years, so I don't remember. So I feel like the second one was the one where I was like, okay, they're still fighting the machines, they still trying to wake everybody up. But in the third one, they were like in the underground city, and it was just like, what is happening? Like, y'all all awake, but like, what are y'all doing? Y'all doing something? Or what are y'all doing? So,
Yeah,
but
I was like,
yeah, so let's see what we get from this. And I am curious to find out, how the fuck does Neo end up back in the Matrix? That motherfucker was awake at the end of the last movie. So how you end up back in the Matrix? But I guess we won't find out.
oh yeah, he like, I'll go back in there for something. Let me see. Yeah, let's see it. But
even in the clips, the trailer, maybe we should watch the trailer for it too after we watch the recaps for 2 and 3. Because the trailer, he doesn't have any recollection of the Matrix.
Oh, the new.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, my interpretation is, I think it was in the third one, like the Matrix reset and it just be a new Matrix every single time. So I just assume it's the new Matrix.
All right, we're gonna have to watch this recap.
The old man who we're going to watch it, but the old man that's the creator of the Matrix, like, explains this in a way I guess that's supposed to be understandable, and it's so fucking confusing. Like, it don't. I'm like, this. Oh,
that's right, because he finds him in that white room or some shit. But wasn't that man a computer as well?
Yeah, he was like the creator of the Matrix. They all computers and shit. You forget.
All right, let's get on with this.
Wow. And like, we'll always talk about like how that was like the dumbest thing he ever did was turn down. But then again, they were saying like, okay, Will turns it down. We probably don't get a black Morpheus though. Because it was up for the Morpheus role, I think, as well.
That's true. I can see that happen. Yeah, and who knows? I mean, on the other hand, it's like, would it have been as much of a hit? It's hard to imagine it would not have been a hit, because Will Smith, I think, was the most bankable star at that point. So it's hard to imagine it would not have been a hit. But it is very interesting to think about how that plays out.
Surprisingly, like the obscurity and kind of like aloofness of Keanu Reeves kind of works for this in a way that you don't think. Because at first I was like, oh, I hate this, but now it was like, I can't imagine it any other way.
Right. Yeah.
What was it? I'm sure it would have been its own thing, but would it have been this?
Right. Because also at that time, I think Will Smith was a little too cool for school, so to speak.
Right.
Because he was so bankable. At that time in the 90s, it felt like Will Smith was more so playing into the image of movie star as we knew it at that point. So I could see it losing some of its charm, because I feel like he might have played it too cool. It would have felt too Men in Black, I think,
Yeah. Was Men in Black out at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it would have felt like more of the same. So
right.
I would have loved to see Will as it, but yeah.
Well, he did Independence Day, he did Men in Black. And all of his little action roles that he did, Bad Boys had already been out at that point, I believe. So in all of those roles, he's always super cool. It just was missing that sort of, like you said, aloofness, that cluelessness that Keanu kind of brought to it, of like, I'm like, huh, what? I'm the one? I'm the savior? But it's hard to imagine Will playing that, because all of his action roles, even though he's an incredible actor, at the time, all of his action roles were just like, yes, I am the hero. Yes,
Right.
the world. You know, so it's hard to imagine him, you know.
I mean, he's a great actor though, so I do think he would have been able to pull it off. It just would have been a different movie.
Right.
Now, first of all, why you all passed out back then?
Yo, that's how I felt about the second movie, like watching it originally. It was just like
There's so much going on.
right, and you can follow it up to a point. Like I was able to follow when I originally watched it up to a point where you just tune out, where it's just like,
right. Yeah, there's too much going on. It's like,
yeah, they tried to cram a lot of story into one very small, one little film. They tried to cram a whole lot of story into one little film.
No, they doing way too much.
Mm. Yeah,
thoughts. Yeah,
like, I don't even know where to start on that one. Is so many thoughts and questions. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I like that Jada was in it, and I just always chuckled that Roy Jones Jr. was really in it, the boxer. Always chuckle about him. The key maker, and then like all these extra characters. It just seemed like they tried to do too much, and I don't know.
And then the whole thing with the hallway and the doors and because my whole thing is like, one of the things that I don't really get about the Matrix, right, is if everybody besides like the humans that are plugged in is computer code, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, and they hate humans and they really just want to eat us or feast on our souls or the sludge in our body, whatever the fuck they're doing. Why do they go through so much trouble to emulate human worlds and to feed that fantasy for the humans plugged into the Matrix? Like, why go through all of that? I don't think it's ever established what the benefit of doing that is to the machines, right?
Well, no, the machines require the energy of the people to live, to survive, because the people blacked out the sun when the war was going on with the machines.
But I thought the way they get the energy from the people is by like sucking it out of like the little fetuses.
Yeah, to my knowledge, but I mean, are they just going to keep creating fetuses, or they need to keep your brain alive long enough so for they could do it for your whole life cycle?
Okay, I see.
And so that's why you plugged up to the Matrix.
From?
Huh?
Where the fetus is coming from is the other question. Is it like you get pregnant in the Matrix, you get pregnant in real life?
That's a good question. They figured it out. Well, I mean, no, I think it's just what's going on now? Artificial, like they can create babies in test tubes.
So then that leads me back to my first question. Why keep all that going for the humans and you can just hook them up to a fucking test tube, keep their ass alive, and suck the sludge out of them when you're ready?
But apparently you can't. It's something about the human brain. My assumption is something about the human brain you can't hack. They have to still keep you alive. And the only way to do that is keep you plugged into the program. But before, if it's too blissful, that didn't work. The people rejected it. If it's too bad, they rejected it. So they got to keep this. It's just a program. To them, it's probably nothing but code. It's probably not even that deep for real. You know what I'm saying?
The other question I had then is, why would the computer code? So fine, they have to keep the fantasy world going for the benefit of the people. But why would the computer code imitate people? Do you get what I'm saying? Like it was like they were saying that one code was holding another code prisoner and all this stuff. Like, why would the code go through?
Well, that's how you gotta exist in that world. That's I don't find that crazy, because it's like, if that's the world, that's how you gotta be. Like I think about this, right? If we're spirits in a physical being, and somebody just like, well, why wouldn't you be a spirit? It's because you want to earth, so you got to be in a physical body. I mean, you can operate outside of it, but it's not as effective. You got to be in a physical body here, or for the most part.
Well, but I also thought that in the Matrix, the programs don't exist in the Matrix. They exist outside of the Matrix in the real world. But they keep the Matrix forward.
No, the machines do. These are programs.
Oh, okay.
It's the war of the machines, not the programs, not technology. So the machines off doing whatever, like living like a species, I guess.
But then the program that exists in the Matrix is also doing its own thing.
Yeah, it's a program created in order to keep the people's brain alive and make them believe like everything is fine. Why would they siphon their energy? Which I feel like is what's happening to us now. But whatever.
So it's like you got so the machines would be like if the computers were all doing their own thing, and the code within the computers would be the program in the Matrix that's also doing its own thing. Like it's two separate things at this point, right? That kind of work in tandem.
I guess. I just look at it like the machines are the species that's operating in the real world, and they created a program so that they can siphon the energy out of the humans, and the programs run the Matrix. Created by the machine people, just like a real computer. Like if somebody creates Mario, they're not controlling every aspect of the game running itself, the program is running, and then people play the game, but the game itself is just, you know what I mean, doing its thing. That's why I think God is a coder. One day it came to me, I was like, I think God is like a coder, because this is why I said that. I was like, because I was just thinking about like a video game, and how I was thinking about time, and how time is like, okay, God exists outside of time. He's omnipresent, you know, if that's what you mean, right? So God exists. And I think other things exist outside of time too, because I just think that's the restrictions of this dimension or whatever, right? But outside of this dimension, you can operate outside of time. So my thing is just like a video game. If somebody codes a video game, and then in the game, something like it's an obstacle, like it's a wall that's not supposed to be there, they can just go in and change the code and then remove it, but they're outside of the game, right? And the time doesn't change. The game don't change. If you're in the game, it's not like the game paused. The world never changes for you. It's just this obstacle is no longer there that you never even knew was there.
Interesting.
So I was like, maybe God's a programmer, because that's, to me, it's like God can just go, like if you pray something, like let's say you pray for, or even you trying to manifest something, right? If it's somebody at the helm, or somebody, or energy, even if it's our energy or our higher self, whatever it is outside of time, they can just go in and alter like the Matrix, essentially. Like the red woman, like they talk about the woman in red in the Matrix, or the glitch in the Matrix. You just go in and fix it.
Who the hell is that? Did I miss that? Did they mention that?
So like when he's explaining the Matrix to the lady, right? I mean, he's explaining, hold up.
Like when he's talking to the Oracle, or?
No, he's like, no, when Morpheus is explaining to Neo how the Matrix works, right? It's just an example of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's how I imagine like it really is. Like you could just change something, but the people in the Matrix wouldn't notice. You know what I mean? It's just people outside the Matrix can make that change, or whomever, or who's programmed. You feel me? I think too it's just a lot of confusion, and then the architect, which is like explaining everything, but then you don't understand what the fuck he's talking about. So then it'd be like,
yeah, I was just like, what, bro? Like, what? You made how many versions of this? Why you keep making versions of this? What's happening? Why you doing
he was like, basically, it's a fail safe whenever Zion gets out of control. But apparently, the machine's controlling Zion too. Like it's intentional to make people feel like they have a free choice,
right?
But don't.
So then that was the other question too, which I guess is maybe the point of 3, and the question posed by 3 is like, what do you do at that point? Once you realize that the machines or whomever are controlling the free city, how do you get free from everything?
And that's how I think it is too. I think like you got people that's like woke or wake up, but like I think there's a program for that too. I think like the way this shit is designed that we in is like fail safes at every level. What is like the ultimate point? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just think it's a lot of parallels here. Especially now, like even how he explained, like, you know, some people just so, you know, attached to the system. They can't imagine a world without it.
Yeah, because that's the thing. If you have privilege within the system, you wouldn't want that to change, especially if you thought you weren't going to have those same privileges elsewhere.
And I think it's not even is you got the privilege, but then it's just the safety, like just the or you not having to think about it. Huh?
The devil you know kind of thing.
Yeah, what you know, I don't believe in that. So shall we see the third part? I don't even remember what the third one was about at all.
I just remember they was in that big crazy city having orgies. That's all I remember.
Oh yeah, when they were like,
Everybody started fucking. I was like, okay.
They was having orgies. I don't remember that.
I always thought it was an orgy. Maybe, oh shit, drop my carrot. Maybe that's just my brain.
I mean, it felt like a big old like it was given like Nirvana, like mosh pity, like I don't know. No, Woodstock, I mean, like giving like Woodstock.
They out there at Coachella.
Exactly. It's giving Coachella. It's like that's the vibe I got from it. But I don't know. Let's see.
Orgy. Well, let's find out.
And I remember it kind of went into it could be like after a while and turned to orgy. I don't know.
Maybe they all just went off and fucked separately. Maybe it wasn't orgy. Maybe they all just got hot and then retired to their little quarters and fucked. Because I'm pretty sure that leads to a sex scene with Neo and Trinity, if I remember correctly.
Probably, and then also the black guy that was, I guess, supposed to be opposite Aaliyah. I think they went and get busy too, right?
I think so, yeah.
So it just takes us in. Okay, now remember, it takes us inside of Zion, but it's like.
And I remember not being impressed with Zion. Like Zion was, it just was like, I don't know. It was too much going on and nothing at all going on at the same time. It's like, all right, well.
Probably. Let's see.
All right. Okay. So the end of that one was that now people get to, choose whether or not to leave the Matrix. Now is Trinity dead? Like she dead, or?
I think she's supposed to be dead. I don't know, but yeah, I didn't realize that
in the new one, like very obviously in the new one.
Yeah, but it's like she is in the new one, but it's like I said, it could be. I'm telling you, it's probably going to be another version of something.
Like machine zombie Trinity or something.
Yeah, or somebody just look like her or something. Yeah.
Interesting, because she seems to be heavily featured throughout it. Or maybe, I mean, I haven't watched it obviously, but like I've seen a lot of publicity like stuff with her in it. They seem like
she definitely in it. Let's look at the trailer.
No, but I mean like for multiple scenes. Yeah, let's watch the trailer for this because I'm still like, what the fuck happened? What's going on? Yeah, that fucking Matrix thing. I don't know. I just don't understand. Like,
I mean, maybe it sounds to me like they might be like updating the Matrix.
Oh, maybe because they said it runs a few versions every few years or so, and it restarts itself.
I just think it needs a new code. Like maybe it just needs to be recoded. And then you got Jada in it. She made old, so it's like.
Yeah, so that could be the thing, that maybe a few hundred years or so, or 50 or so years, maybe it's a lot of years have passed.
And then maybe that 1% maybe have like band together or something.
Maybe.
And now it's like a whole like new whatever.
Maybe. Because I'm wondering if that's supposed to be like that guy that is very clearly not Lawrence Fishburne, but very clearly Morpheus. If this is supposed to be like a thing with the Oracle where it's like, oh, I updated my code, now I look different. Kind of thing.
Right. Or if he's just a new person.
I don't think he's a new person, is he? I think if he feels very Morpheus.
He feels very Morpheus, but just like there was multiple Neos, I think he's a new Morpheus.
Maybe.
And Yara, I think his name is Yara, the actor. I do love him though.
Is he? What else was he in?
He's Candyman.
Oh. Was he in something
Yeah.
else too?
Yeah. He been in a lot of stuff. He was on Black Mirror.
Okay. Maybe that's where I know him from.
Yeah.
He looks so familiar, but I couldn't place him.
He be mad stuff. He's been in like, let's look at his filmography. He been in a lot of stuff. Lately, he's like one of the it guys right now.
Okay. Good for him.
Yeah, I love it. He's really, oh, he was also on Watchmen.
That's where I know him from. He was Dr. Manhattan.
Yep.
That's where I know him from.
In it's Matrix, Candyman, Watchmen. He was on Us. I didn't see Us. Apparently he was on Aquaman.
He was in Us?
Yeah, I didn't see Us.
What the hell was he in Us? Because it was only 4 main people. I would have to rewatch that to see who he was. And what else was he in?
He was in it though. He played Waylon, whoever that was.
I'd have to rewatch it for sure.
Yeah, he's in Get Out. I didn't know he was in Get Out.
He's in Get Out? Who was he in Get Out? Is he the runner?
I don't think he's the runner.
No.
I don't think so. I don't think he's the runner.
Remember in Get Out was the dude that was like...
Yeah, that was the older like...
Oh, that's right. He was an older man, wasn't he?
Played a small but important role in Jordan Peele's second feature, Us, as the feather of Lupita Nyong'o's character during her childhood flashbacks. It's something about the Yaya charm that works even when he's losing his small daughter on the beach boardwalk.
Oh, he's the dad?
Father. They said they literally put feather. I was like,
and you said feather, and my brain heard tether, because remember that was the thing, they were tethered. So I was like, what? But then it's like, oh wait, he was the father. That makes way more sense.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
Okay, well, shout out to him.
Shout out to Yahya, and my friend's obsessed with him. Tanisha, it's so funny because like he was doing an interview and the person interviewing him was like, my friend is obsessed with you, talking about her. He was like, oh, what's wrong?
That's funny.
Tanisha, if you watching this, we go manifest that bad for you, girl. We go manifest. I got my little crush. What's his name? We'll talk about it on another one. I like Yaya, but I got my new celebrity crush.
Okay, celebrity crushes. Well, yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on in the Matrix. I don't know. I guess hopefully I'll find out. Yeah.
I just hope it's good. And you know what? You know what I think is funny too? Like, you know how my theory, if the black lady really did write it, they probably couldn't recreate that content. Like, they probably legit. Cause like, how was the first story so solid and then like everything falls apart? I'm just saying, maybe they couldn't recreate it. And she's been very vocal, I think, on the like about how that's not her movie, the fourth one, and none of that is like not her movie. Like, I gotta find where she was like talking about it, but they was like,
listen, we probably will never really know the truth, but yeah, from everything I read, it seemed like there was like it was like somebody took bits and pieces of her of what she said to be of what she was saying happened, and somehow that spiraled into this whole narrative. But it's like, apparently, according to like what I looked up at one point, and again, everybody got to do their own research, but according to what I looked up, like it never even went to trial or something like that. Like none of it, like it was like the legend that she won the trial and it got swept under the rug or something is false because it never even went to trial or something like that. There was a bunch of things that were like, on it. And it was something else because it was like the accusation that was made was that she said somebody was like teaching a class or something and they stole it from her in the class. And then it was like, there's no evidence that this person ever taught a class or that she was ever in the class with the person or something like that. It was something where like, something very specific where you would have proof of that if it actually happened.
I hear you, but I've also like listened to the lady on Clubhouse talk about it. So it's like,
I mean, you know, everybody got, it's two sides to every story, and whoever has the strongest narrative wins out. Because it's like, you know, and whatever narrative you want to believe, because that's the other thing too. Like, I could like take relationships, for example. There's two stories in every relationship.
For sure.
But like, you know, and taking like my past relationship for an example, all of my friends will without question believe what I say, and all of his friends are going to without question believe what he says, for the most part. You might question bits and pieces, but whatever comes through as the main narrative, that's what my friends are going to take, and his friends are going to take something completely different, you know. So
but I think like it's like I look at it like it's like the Jesus thing, right? Like nobody doubts that Jesus existed. Everybody just doubts the logistics of what and who that was. But like most, I mean, some people do say he didn't exist at all, but most religions and stuff be like, I mean, he was here, but he wasn't this, or he was and he was this, right? So I just kind of look at it like that. Like, you know, the details of the thing, but the thing, typically, people don't usually dispute the thing. They usually dispute the details of the thing. So the details might be off. I mean, it could be the whole thing, but like I said, everybody do your own research and look it up. But I definitely think it's just an interesting story nonetheless. I'm inclined to believe it, but that's because whatever. But I don't know that it's all 100%, but you know, it is what it is. Sponsored by. So.
Well, hopefully, if you know whatever the truth is, hopefully it'll come out one day. Because if it really was stolen from her, then that's fucking tragedy.
Yeah. And if it's not, then just let it rest. You know what I mean? Let it go. If it's really, you know, false, like, okay, let's let the narrative rest.
Yeah. Because I do remember somebody was saying like, well, why would she lie about that? And it's like, well, people have mental health issues. Like, you know, it's just like, I don't know that like whomever is, you know, people have motives for why they might lie, but at the same time, like sometimes somebody's motive could just be that they are mentally ill. You know
how like it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but it's never that. We always assume the person of color, whoever, or the small person is the one that committed the thing. Well, I'm inclined until somebody gives me some proof beyond a reasonable doubt that she didn't do it, that it didn't happen. I believe her story 100% until I'm presented with proof that presents otherwise. Because I just think we do the opposite way too much. Like we so inclined to believe everybody else and everything except, you know, the people or the individual when they say what it is. Now, people lie, of course. But what happened to that? Like, you know what I mean? Like the proof of the burden of proof, you know what I mean, is on them. That's how I feel. But and if she wrong, if I'm wrong, that's fine. But for me, you gotta present me with proof beyond a reasonable doubt at this point, you know?
Yeah.
I haven't received that yet. So
yeah. I mean, just, you know, everybody just gotta do their research, because what I saw, I was just like, it put it to rest for me. I was just like, oh.
I got you. I've seen all that stuff too, but or most of it. I can't say I've seen everything you saw because I'm not you, but based on what you shared with me, I've seen a lot of stuff, but I also have known about this for a very long time too. I've been kind of following the story for a minute. So like, you know, it's not just like, oh, it's a story and it's what happened. It was kind of like, oh, now this is the update to the story. Oh, like over the years, and then like, oh, this is the real lady. I remember hearing about it. So I know we'll see, but I just thought about it, not whether it's true or not, but I'm like, that does fit. Maybe they just couldn't come up with nothing that's good. Like,
I mean, maybe it's a glitch in the matrix. Maybe the code was erased that contained the truth, and we'll never know, or whatever. Because you know, what is it that we always say? Like, we be saying like, oh, what is it? Not in my universe or whatever. Like talking about the multiverse and the matrix and all that stuff, just joking around and just saying like, oh yeah, it was like that, but not in my universe. Like the Berenstain Bears. I don't care what nobody says. You cannot convince me that those motherfuckers were ever called the Berenstain Bears. I don't care what proof you got. Like, nah. I've seen sliders. We slid universes then, because no, they were never. I was spelling bee champ. You can't tell me that it was Berenstain.
Nah, I was spelling bee champ.
I was spelling bee champ, yo.
Yeah, you have it. Mystery.
Or like, what's the one? Like, yo, like, remember the shit, the Pan's Labyrinth shit? That's the one that blew my mind. Like, so I guess we're going on a Mandela effect slight tangent real quick.
What did they say? Because I know this.
Huh?
Say, what were you going to say?
what I was gonna say is that, so when it comes to the Pan's Labyrinth thing, right? This is not a common Mandela effect thing. Like, this is not a thing that you can look up an article and it'll come up like, remember this or that? But you and I had a conversation once. And that was the shit that blew my mind and freaked me out. And I was like, that's it. We in the Matrix. I don't know how else to explain this shit. Because I had a discussion with, so when the movie Pan's Labyrinth came out, and what was that, 2009, 10, whatever, I remember seeing like the previews and saying to like one of my friends, saying something like, oh, cool, like, yeah, I want to see that movie. It's based on the book. And this friend has like been on Jeopardy. Friend was like, there is no such book. And I was like, no. The book Pan's Labyrinth. And there is no book. And I'm like, no, I know there's a book. I read it in school. Like, maybe, and I was like, no, maybe it was called something else. Maybe the title was longer. Maybe it was similar. But I was like, I know I read this book. So then I started asking other friends, and all the people that I asked, who are all like movie, like cinephiles, and very much people who would read like sci-fi and things like that, and would be aware if this was adapted from a book. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, nah, there is no book. No such thing exists. So I put it to bed. And cut to about 10 years later, I don't know how the topic came up. Maybe the movie was on TV or something. And I started saying it to people again. And I turned to some friends who I grew up with, and I was like, do y'all remember reading this book? And they were like, yeah, the book Pan's Labyrinth. They're like, oh yeah, I remember the book. And I'm like, okay, so whatever, if I'm misremembering something, we're misremembering it together. So I look it up, and it says, when you look the shit up, says that it is based on, it is an original story written by Guillermo del Toro. I remember a book. So as I'm discussing this with friends or whatever, I remember texting you at one point, or maybe did I text you, or maybe we were in person? I don't fucking remember. No, I think
in person. I remember this conversation because I was like, no, it was a book and we read it, me and my best friend.
Because I remember setting it up. I was like, I'm not gonna give her any information. I was like, let me just ask her. And I was like, oh, have you heard of Pan's Labyrinth? And without missing a beat, without saying anything, you were like, yeah. You said to me, yeah, Pan's Labyrinth, the book. I remember we read it in elementary school. It was like a weird book with a purple color, and it had the like little guy on the front, like the little like, and I was like,
I don't remember saying all that, but yeah.
That's what you said to me. That is what you fucking said to me. And I was like, okay, then. So if you remember everything, including the cover, because and that's what freaks me out.
That's weird, because I don't be remembering like stuff like that, like the cover and all that. And it's weird that I even remember. But yeah, I remember reading that book, and I didn't know it was a movie, I don't think. Or maybe I did.
Remember you said that. You were like, they made that into a movie. And then I was like, okay, we got pause and we got rewind. I was like, so you know about the book, right? And you're like, yeah. You're like, of course I know about the book. It was like if I had said to you, like, have you heard of like the Bible? And you're like, yeah, I heard of the Bible. What you talking about? Like,
yeah, like that's what it was like.
I heard this famous book. It's a famous book. What you talking about?
No, but I was like, maybe that's why we so cool. Maybe we come from the same dimension.
From the same dimension. That would make all the sense.
And then like people from the same dimension, just like how Trinity and Neo just was like, have we met before?
Right.
That shit. That's probably what they I would not be surprised if they like it's some multiverse shit happening in the Matrix and all the Matrices merging or some dumbass shit, because that's probably what's happening in the real world. And they don't just want to tell us. Every narrative right now is about a multiverse. Why?
Are they about to reveal it to us? Are we in the multiverse?
And did you hear that article? And then I'm a rap, but did you hear the article where they said NASA has hired like 24 clergymen and stuff to discuss what would happen if there was an alien invasion and how that would affect people's belief system?
No. Let me find out they're getting ready to tell us. They're like, that's what we do. Let's consult various religious leaders and just see what they think would happen.
It's my belief they had the technology to kind of do shit with the sky and all that. I don't want to see no trigger words because I don't want them to take but yeah, like I think that they have the technology to be able to change the sky anyway. So I don't know if like aliens came through the sky. If I would be 50-50 whether I believe they was real or not real. Because I think they have the ability to create that type of scenario. I'm just be honest. But who knows? Who knows what will be real and what will not be real? That's the thing. Like,
well, have you ever read the Watchmen graphic novel?
Nah.
You should read that. You might like it. Did you ever watch the Watchmen movie? I know you watched the series. Have you watched the movie?
A long time ago, yeah. But I don't remember it.
Because it ends the ending is like the same as the ending of the comic book, but the device they used to like, because if you remember, they were trying to unite humanity under a common enemy. So in the comic book, it's one thing, and then in the movie, it was, I think, an alien or whatever, and they're like, the alien just destroyed the city. Everybody come together. Yay.
Or to divide. They're using, divide and conquer.
We'll see. Well, I would just love to get back to my regular dimension
if possible.
Supposed to be.
Girl, the human body is so amazing. Like,
the what?
I said the human body is so amazing, especially like melanin, how it works. Because remember, I like burnt. This is random, and then we can get out of it. Remember, I burnt my ankle. I burnt my ankle, guys, with the flat irons. Don't ask. The flat irons like went on the back of my leg like this. It just was like a fluke thing that happened to me. And so my literally had 2 spots on my leg. One was a huge pink square that probably I needed to get skin grafting for, honestly, because it was just like no color, no nothing. But now it's like starting to get like dotted little pieces of brown in there. Like, and it's amazing to me that my body is recreating like the melanin and all of that and like rebuilding that part of my body.
You got to channel your inner Neo and just change the code. Just put all of it back. Yeah.
Well, it's coming in bit by bit. That's the thing. Like, I see it like creating melanin out of, I don't know. It's pulling the melanin from somewhere and recreating it. I feel like we got all these superhero abilities. They're just like stunted. So that's like a version of like regeneration. It's just slow. Like,
now you get into that Kirk Connors shit. Regeneration. Don't turn into the lizard.
Oh, that's what he was on? Nah.
Yeah, that's how it all started with him. He was trying to regrow his arm using reptile DNA. He was trying to regenerate.
True. No, but I just think all the superhero like powers, I think we got them, but
Well, can mine activate already? Because it's time.
I probably really do be stopping time. Like, yo, I'm so tired. I wish very tough to be. Sorry, because I'm not gonna make it. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna come back after because this is a show, not just see me and Shamira be thinking this is just us talking on the phone. Like,
yes, be forgetting.
Yeah, so we'll come back.
Yeah, and watch the second, the what is this? The fourth one, the Resurrection, whatever the fuck this is. We're gonna come back and review Resurrection after we watch that shit.
Yep. True that.
Yeah, I feel like our reactions this time were not nearly as interesting as to Spider-Man, because I think we're both just like about the Matrix, like.
Well, no, because we kind of ripped on Spider-Man at first till we got to the good stuff.
I guess. Well, I mean, I feel like we were discussing it enthusiastically, whereas like the Matrix, I'm just like, I still don't fully understand what the fuck is happening.
True, because the Matrix is the Matrix, though. Like, I do love the Matrix and all it represents, but I think that's fine. Once maybe the new movie will wow us, and then
maybe the new movie will be the thing that like tips the scales for me. But yeah, there's just too much going on and not enough going on in the third one all at the same time. It was just like, what is happening here? Like, can y'all just fuck?
There was wine at the last review, though. And technically it was earlier, even though it was mad late.
Was it earlier? No, we started around the same time. Because remember, we spent a good 4 hours like shuffling around. We started around like 9 p.m. my time. Like actually talking about the movie.
Yeah, it was like 11 or 12 my time is what I'm saying. And that was not the no. That's not.
Yeah, because it's only 12:30 here.
And it's almost 4 a.m.
That's what I'm saying. So so we started around the same times.
We did not.
We did. Because remember, our original meeting was for 6 o'clock. Or I'm sorry, not 6 o'clock. It was original meeting was for 8 o'clock.
I think you think we got on here earlier than we did. Well, we didn't.
I thought because we've been on here for what? 2 hours?
Mm-hmm. Well, like 3 because we paused and stuff, but
yeah, we just need to work on the structure.
Yeah, no, we actually did not begin the Zoom until like midnight.
Your time?
Yes, I sent you the Zoom link at 11:51 Eastern.
Ain't that the same time we started last time?
No.
Maybe my math is just wrong. Oh, my math is wrong because I'm thinking we started 8 your time last time, not 8 my time. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do think the earlier we start, the better it will be.
Yeah, me too. Well, this was kind of impromptu because in my mind, I thought we were just gonna watch it, watch it and just kind of together collectively just because I think we was gonna be really reviewing it. But it turned out cool. I'm glad I was not with it at first, but I'm glad we did do it.
Yeah. I don't think that I'm going to watch The Matrixes again for a while. I'll watch Resurrection, obviously, but like just the recaps of these, I was just like,
I might go back and watch that one that we was gonna watch at first. Maybe
a weird voice.
Maybe it wasn't that weird to me because I'm used to watching these review voices be weird, but
because like the original Matrix, I do feel like as a standalone film is really well done.
But though he mentioned this might be like a sequel to that first one, technically,
which might even be more interesting because I feel like people have been doing they've been doing that lately with some of these properties. They've been kind of being like, you know what, let's scrap these things that didn't work and reboot the whole fucking shit,
multiverse,
right?
Fun.
That would be really trippy if they were like, the Matrix is a multiverse. I'd be like, I don't know how I feel about that, because I also don't know if there's enough content to keep me interested in a Matrix multiverse. Whereas like if you do a comic book multiverse, you would do DC, you do Marvel, you do any of the like anything that has multiple properties under its umbrella, then that's interesting.
But in theory, it is a multiverse because think about this: if you had Mario, you got Mario 1, 2, 3. You can still play any of those games; they still exist.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying like this doesn't have enough content to keep me interested as a multiverse. Like Mario, yeah, I can find out what's going on with the Koopas. I can get their backstory or find Peach or Wario or Luigi. But for this, I'm like, the only characters I'm interested in are really like Neo and Trinity and maybe Morpheus. The rest of these characters, I don't give a shit.
I would be interested in how that machine world actually works more, other than, and maybe they went into that one, the second or third one, and I missed it. I don't know, but
I might be interested in a prequel. Because wait, wasn't there I think a prequel or something? Because there was also the Animatrix that nobody cared about. Remember that?
Maybe, but the lady said Terminator was the prequel, which makes a lot of sense.
It does that does make a lot of sense. That Terminator is the prequel.
She said she wrote it. They took, they split it into 2 movies, but it's really a trilogy of one movie. It's the Terminator and the Matrix, and then something else. That's cool.
Now you rearrange it that way, that makes more sense. But like, there was a movie that came out in like 2000. It was like a short, maybe. Can't remember if it was a feature or a short, but it came out in like 2004. It was called The Animatrix, and it was supposed to be a continuation of something that was going on in the universe. It was either supposed to fill the gap between like the movie and something else, or it was supposed to be a prequel to the movie or something, but nobody gave a shit about it. It just kind of like came and went.
Oh, when they did made it short films, the backstory of the Matrix series, including the original war between humanity and machines, which led to the creation of the titular Matrix. In addition to providing side stories that expand the universe and tied into the film series, Since the anthology released, multiple franchises have partaken in similar projects over the years. So it's 9 of them, apparently, right?
9 movies?
9.
Not like 9 pieces of what?
The Flight of Osiris, the Second Renaissance Part 1, the Second Renaissance Part 2, Kids Story. Yeah, it's like,
so that's supposed to be the backstory, like the prequels.
mm-hmm.
And is it like a book or is it an actual like film?
An animated science fiction anthology film.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't remember all that. When did that come out?
2003.
I remember that now. Like, I'd forgotten that there were 9 of them. For some reason, I thought it was one story. That's how I remember it in my brain. But I guess it was a bunch of shorts. And I remember trying to watch it and not being able to like get through it. Partly because I think I just wasn't finding it that interesting. And partly because I think I wasn't fully following all the stories. So.
Seems interesting now.
Yeah, like, I feel like I might watch it again because now it seems like something I might be able to
process.
Right, more so than like my 17-year-old mind that's just like, what is happening?
Right. What? True that. But I'm gonna look at it. Let's see. Let's watch. I'm optimistic about this Matrix, even though I'm kind of like, I feel like we would have heard more about it by now if it was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that was our recap of the first 3 Matrix movies, the trilogy, which was quite a ride. So we're gonna optimistically go into the new installment of the Matrix and come back and let y'all know what we think. Let us know what y'all think, what you like, what you didn't like, and all that good stuff.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, y'all.
Like and subscribe and share, like and subscribe. Send to somebody that you think is into this type of dope, cool content on Black Girls Watch. I'm Ronnetta Renee.
And I'm Shamira. We'll see you later.
See you later.
Bye.